Good morning, everyone. I just have to update my banner. This here. Good morning, good morning. Hi, Meg. Hi, Alyssa. It's Halloween season. Hi, Sarah. How are you? I saw that you were registered for today. I'm so excited. It's been a long time. I also was really irritated with my hair yesterday, so I took the scissors and I just cut off 4 inches. Hi. I'm super excited. I have tons of pages of notes to share with you guys, and then I even printed off the Halloween party guide. So I'm ready. I was smart and I put the guide on my iPad instead. So that's probably what I'm gonna work off of. I really wanted to do this because a long time ago, before I had even lived in Florida, I would do a video where I would talk about how I plan for Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party. And honestly, how I plan is even very different than how my husband would plan or how my best friend would plan. Everyone has different goals for the party, and that's kind of the overall theme, I guess, to this is that I'm one person. I have one or two things that are priority to me, and then the rest just I let the magic happen. There are a lot of people out there who want to do everything, and I am not going to be that type of person. If that's what you're looking for, I'm not going to be able to give you that advice because I don't believe that you can get everything done, with the caveat of enjoying the moments and soaking up the magic. I have been able to do almost everything that's on this special event list, the party extras, besides meeting the characters. And I will say that the night was so rushed, and it was because I had been to the party 5 times before. So good morning, Wendy. Hi, Linda. So when it comes to doing everything that the party has to offer, all of the characters, all of the themed rides, it's literally impossible unless you get lucky and the line for Jack Skellington happens to be 30 minutes, which I have only heard of that happening a few times. And that's just because people knew how to plan it. So I am going to post this entire live stream over on YouTube also. Hi, Willie. Hi, Tyson. So that if you guys can't stay for the whole thing or you just want to refer back to it, I will post it and upload it over there. If you're going to Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party this year, there are definitely some things that can make or break your night, which is why we're here. To put it into perspective, I've been attending this event for going on 6 years now. It was the Boo to You or party or Boo Bash. It was Boo Bash the first time I went, and then the years after. I did skip last year though, but not much truly has changed. So tiny things have changed, such as, Jack Skellington's face looks very different than it did in the past, which is good. It's definitely an upgrade. Hi, good morning, everyone. Hi, Ashley. Hi, Joy. I also have one child. She is now almost 14. I have a not so Disney husband. He does not prefer to be at Disney. He's definitely a Universal guy. Good morning. Hi, Randy. Hi, Connie. Hi, Shaz. He did do the Halloween party with us once, so I also learned a little bit of okay, what to do if you're going with somebody who it's just not their vibe, but they're there because they want to have fun with you and take some pictures and stuff. So I've got a little bit of a mix. I will say I'm very few and far between. I feel like a lot of people that I talk to have multiple kids that are going to the party, especially different ages. That can change things. Sometimes mom and dad are splitting up. It just really depends on what you find joy in. Do you want to find joy in making memories together, or do you want to find joy in checking off boxes? And I am not a list, let's check off a box type of person. If there are people that reach out to me that ask me questions about what the best strategy is with kids of this age and this age, and mom and dad plan to split up, I will not, because I do not think that is worth your time or your money to go to an event to split up for a few hours. Again, everyone has their own goals, right? But for me, I would never pay that much money to split up from my family for a few hours when the party is already only a few hours long. So, all right. I took some notes, so I'm going to be looking at them every once in a while, but I asked what you guys wanted to hear on Instagram about, mentally preparing for the party, whatever you guys wanted to talk about. And one of the questions that people asked is, what is a major mistake people make? And I think, if you haven't caught on already, one of the biggest mistakes that I think people make when they're going to the Halloween party is, adjust my camera a little bit, is having a checklist. And the checklist is like 20 items deep. I always tell people to pick 3 things with your day, whatever that may be. But if you leave room for the magic, I promise like more special things will happen than if you just focus on looking at your phone, looking at your map, and checking off a checklist. It's truly, I've tested it. I've tested the theory. I used to live there for full time for the last 5 years, and I've tested my theory. I've gone to the parks with a list of things to do, and I've gone to the parks with nothing to do. And I can promise you the time that I had nothing planned was more magical than the time that I was bouncing around trying to check things off my list. Good morning, everyone. Hi, Mace Maston. Hello, Nathan. Hi, Dion. Hi, Duchess. Hi, Sammy. Hi, Kelly. So I think that's a really big mistake. I also think another big mistake for the Halloween party is people booking dining. Now, if it's like your 10th time going, book that dining. But if you have not been yet and you're going to book a sit-down restaurant that could take about an hour of your party time, I really think it's a waste of your time. Those are the 2 biggest mistakes that I would say people make. I would say a smaller one is wearing the wrong kind of shoes. A lot of people will buy brand new shoes for this event because they want it to match their costume, and they won't factor in the fact that it's hot. They're walking around a lot. They also might have been wearing those shoes a couple days prior, not even thinking like, hey, probably shouldn't be breaking these in for the first time, walking around tens of thousands of steps. So that's like a smaller one, is like wearing new shoes without breaking them in at home for a costume for the party. What else is a big mistake that people make? Hi guys, good morning, Karen. Hi Ryan. Oh, sorry, my eye really itches. If merch is your priority, one year, multiple years actually, I've seen but also experienced, good morning Debbie, people wanting items and then waiting to the end of the night because they didn't want to carry it around, and then it's sold out in their size. That has happened. I know some people say to wait to the end so you're not carrying it around, but you're already carrying around candy and trick-or-treating stuff. So my argument would be, do not listen to that. Get what you want. I think one of the biggest things that Disney regulars would say is that if you see something, buy it, because it's not even guaranteed to be restocked. That being said, if you don't want to carry stuff around, rent a super cheap locker for $10 at the front of the park. Then you can just grab it on your way out. You're going to the party tomorrow night. Oh, that's so exciting. So exciting. I'll be there soon. But that's one of my tips that I used to be super cheap and I used to not want to pay for a locker. Now it's like the best thing ever because especially if it starts raining during the party, now you have a change of clothes or you can go and just grab your poncho or grab your umbrella, whatever, if you don't want to carry it around. Sometimes the rain catches you off guard, so I don't recommend leaving your poncho and your umbrella in your locker, but you can at least, have like a backup clothes or backup shoes or extra socks or something. That's exciting. Yes, I will. I will be doing resort tours again. Summertime is just super hot, and I've been very, very busy with a new job. So I will do a resort tour, I think next week. I will do one. Another question that people asked was what I think is a waste of time. I think I already covered it. Dining, I think, is a waste of time at the party unless like you're a regular and you've done it a few times. What else do I think is a waste of time? Honestly, characters. I hate to say it. I do not think it is a good value to stand in line for all of those characters. Let's quick look at the list of characters that you can do. So you've got Mickey Mouse and Minnie Mouse, Jack Skellington and Sally, Friends from Aladdin, Chip and Dale, Mirabelle and Bruno, Lady Tremaine, Anastasia and Drizella, Gaston, Ariel and Prince Eric, Donald Duck and Daisy Duck, Pluto, Friends from Winnie the Pooh, and Friends from Alice in Wonderland. Honestly, not much has changed. Hi guys. It has been a while. Not much has changed with this lineup for like the last 5 years, easily, if not longer. If you enjoy seeing characters and that literally is the only thing you care about doing, then yes, it might be a priority for you and you might have no issue spending your entire party night, because you will spend almost your entire party night waiting in line to see all of these characters. Jack and Sally is super sought after. My biggest recommendation is get in as soon as you can to the parks and go just hop in line right away and just get that over with, because that line can get very long. And then also, if it's a priority for you, prioritize your priorities. Just get it done as quick as you can. Russell. Russell, I love your positivity and your energy. I appreciate it. HHN is coming up so soon. I'm excited. What else do I think is a waste of time? Honestly, standing in line for food. There are so many opportunities for snacks, themed snacks for the party. Be very mindful, especially if you have a park day at Magic Kingdom another day. There are snacks that are available during the day, but there are also snacks that are available only during the party. So I would recommend that if you want snacks or themed snacks, really focus on those party-only snacks, especially if you're going to the parks a different day during the week. Hi. You're doing it tomorrow. Somebody else said they're doing it tomorrow for the first time too. Or maybe not the first time, Debbie, but you're going tomorrow, you said. We typically, my family and I, as well as most of my friends, don't enjoy the themed party snacks as much as we wish that we would. Not your first time, but you're going, yeah. My biggest tip is if you are going to split up for any reason, food is obviously a priority, and it's a long night to not eat anything. My biggest tip for that is if you are planning on getting those like themed snacks, that would be your moment to split up, because we stood in line more than once for over an hour to get certain themed food. And lesson learned, just leave the line and go back, because that is astronomical. Now, some people would say, well, how will you know if the line's going to be about an hour? You don't. But what I do is I always will find somebody who's waiting like right at the window, and I'll be like, hey, how long have you been waiting for your food? That's kind of my trick. And if they say that they've been waiting over 20 minutes or more, I will not wait in line. I will not do it. I really don't love splitting up from my family, obviously, because you want to make those memories together, but you also want to be mindful of your time. And if you're going to be standing in line, there's not much memories to be made when you're standing in line for food. So that's your time to split up, delegate who's getting what, and then meet up at a central spot. And then I promise you, that'll be probably the best use of your time if you're trying to like knock off all of those like specific snack options. How do we know which rides are open at the Halloween party? So when you walk into the Halloween party, you will get one of these. I'm trying to see if you'll get one of these. This is obviously the digital version, but it's a party pamphlet is what I call it. It has a list of all of the stuff that's available. We can get into that in a little bit. I have literally like a whole list of things to chat about because I do plan to download this video and put it on YouTube so people can refer back to it if they need to. That's okay, Emily. That's why we're here. But on this guide list tells you all of the things that are open. It has the firework information, parade information, all of the live entertainment, and then all of the opportunities for, it's hard to show. I actually have it printed off. All of the opportunities for rides and party-specific events. So it'll look something like this when you walk in the park. And then here it'll show you, I'm trying to find, it's so hard because it was hard to print it off. It'll show you a themed ride. It also shows you like the trick or treat stops with the little basket. I'm trying to figure out how it depicts the specific rides. So all of the rides are open. All of the rides are open. Hi, good morning, Kevin. During the party, but there are some that have a specific Halloween overlay. I would only do the rides that have the Halloween overlay. I wouldn't waste my time doing the regular rides. Now, if the wait's like 5 minutes and if it's your favorite ride, go for it. Does anybody know off the top of their head? I feel like, okay. So I'm trying to find Space Mountain. So it's really hard to see, but it'll say Halloween overlay above the ride. So Space Mountain has one. It's so hard to see here. You can easily find it online though. There's like a little note that says if it's open or if it has like a specific overlay. You think Pirates does? It depends on the year. Last year or 2 years ago, Pirates did not have the overlay. I was pretty bummed about that. I'm trying to find Adventureland. It's not on here. Yeah, Pirates does not show an overlay, unfortunately. They've kind of been like taking them back. I will also say it might, there's a little thing right here. So they might have brought characters back in, but like Haunted Mansion usually has like ghosts roaming around and everything. No, it's okay. Pirates did have an overlay a couple years ago. They had like characters roaming around inside the ride. That was so cool. I'm so mad that they took that away. They might have it this year. Jen, you heard that people were, okay. The map that I printed off is so hard to read. So I can't tell necessarily what it means. Yeah, 2 years ago for sure the characters were interacting. The year before or the year after that they were not. So okay, another question that somebody asked from Instagram is how to balance it all in one night and not having FOMO of getting everything done. The short answer is you absolutely will not balance everything. You will not get all of the characters done. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 12 character opportunities. You might, if let's just say you only want to do characters, you still might not even get every single character interaction done in one night. So that's nearly impossible. But what I usually do is I pick one food item. I pick one or two rides because typically I can get both of the rides done that I want to do. I usually want to do Haunted Mansion and Space Mountain since those are typically like Halloween themed. And then I will always prioritize the Boo to You parade. So having those three kind of core things on my list and then shuffling things in there is my biggest recommendation. And then just wandering around and doing trick-or-treating. Trick-or-treating candy has melted before on me. That's why I usually run to locker now. And I usually don't trick-or-treat until like the last hour of the party. I'll usually do the first parade. In the past, I would do the last parade because it's a little less chaotic. And what I would do is I would watch the stage show and then watch the last parade because it kind of just goes bam, bam, bam with fireworks show parade. I don't really care for the stage show anymore after seeing it like 7 times. It's nothing new. The fireworks I do enjoy because I love seeing Jack Skellington. However, it depends on the crowd. It depends where I'm standing. Sometimes it's just not for me, or sometimes like the people that I'm standing by are maybe a little too rowdy. I don't know. So sometimes I will just like skip the fireworks too. It really depends, because if the fireworks are going on, the ride times are usually really low, or the character meet and greets are usually really low. So again, it just really depends on what your priorities are. I think a lot of people want to see the parade. If you want to see the parade and if you want to get a good spot for the first parade, unfortunately, you will be sitting in your spot for quite a bit of time. So my tip for that is go and get a handful of snacks, find a good spot. Good morning. Find a good spot, eat your snacks, and just wait it out so that you can have a good spot for the parade. The parade starts over in like Frontierland, basically. And it'll go down past like Country Bear Jamboree. One of my other tips, I know that being on Main Street is so magical. And truthfully, if it's your first time, thank you for the heart me and the Go Popular. Good to see you too. I know, Amanda, I've been going live sporadically, but definitely not as consistently as I used to. So don't worry. You're not missing too much. If it's your first time seeing the parade, I would prioritize trying to see it on Main Street. But it also is like, if you have kids, if you don't know how long they're going to make it, starting over in Frontierland is going to be golden, because when it starts there, it'll end there before it even starts near Main Street. So I highly recommend starting in Frontierland, just checking it off your list, and then while everyone else is still waiting for the parade, you can move on with your day. Good morning, Tim. A few of you have already mentioned it, but who's going to the Halloween party this year? I know a couple of you are going tomorrow. Hi, Jessica. How's it going? Okay, I'm looking at my notes. I have like 10 pages of notes, so I need to like hustle it up a little bit. You went to Epic? That's so exciting. Okay, so number 1 on my list of 10 things, don't treat it like a normal Magic Kingdom day, meaning like like I said, pick your top 3. Do you want to do the parade, the fireworks, character meet and greets? Do you want to do the Hocus Pocus Villain Spectacular? Is trick-or-treating important? Party exclusive food. They also have photo opportunities that have like the special overlay. So pick one of those 3 things for sure, and then go from there. Do not try to do everything. I think I covered that a few times. It will be your first time. That's so exciting. Have so much fun. Not going this year because it's always the same. Some change would be nice. I know. That's why I skipped last year. I carried over my tickets from last year to this year. You want to do all of it. I know. I wish there was enough time to. I have yet to meet somebody. I don't know. Maybe you guys know. There's probably some creator who's like, I'm going to do everything. I have yet to find somebody who's done every single thing, including the characters. Now, keep in mind, there are some characters that are only out during the party, and there are some characters that you can meet during the day. But like Winnie the Pooh and his friends, they all have Halloween costumes on. So while you can meet Winnie the Pooh during the day, you're not going to be able to meet them with their costumes on. Amanda, yes, I will be there this year. I will be there opening weekend, every single night, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and we're also doing a RIP tour. Super excited. I have a live scheduled, I think Saturday morning, where I'm going to do an HHN chat and tips just like this. Another tip that, people want to gatekeep, but I'm not going to do that because it's pretty easy general knowledge. You can get into the park at 4 p.m., which means that you can get in line to get into the park anytime you want. But they typically start that line, I want to say around 3-ish. It's sweltering hot, you guys. I think that there is no need to do that. There's no need. If you have young kids, do not go at 3 p.m. to get in line outside of Magic Kingdom. Do not do it, okay? Roll up right around 4. I promise you, it's not going to change your experience that much. Especially if you have young kids, you are torturing yourself, putting them in that heat and sitting in that treacherous sun for that hour, just waiting to get in an hour early. It's not worth it. Good morning, Melissa. Love your name. Hi, Michelle. Thank you. I'll be live next week at the resorts a few times, so probably earlier in the week. So as I mentioned, you can enter Magic Kingdom with a party ticket at 4 p.m. The party technically starts at 7, but if let's just say you have an annual pass, or let's just say you have a day ticket and you are already in Magic Kingdom, you do not have to leave Magic Kingdom to get your wristband at the turnstiles. There are multiple wristband points in the theme parks. They will have signs showing you where to go. They'll start closing things off. They'll start navigating you towards where you can get those wristbands. My biggest tip is a lot of y'all are very unfamiliar with this, okay? Maps are great. They truly are. But when you're unfamiliar with what that even means or where you currently are, it is really hard to navigate. So my biggest tip for you is to not plan where to go to pick up your wristband. You are going to pause. You are going to find a nearest cast member, and you are going to ask that wonderful cast member, hi, where is the nearest wristband distribution point? Because yours truly, first time ever, I even know where I'm going in Magic Kingdom. I could navigate it with my eyes closed. I could not for the life of me find the wristband distribution point. Couldn't find it. I spent too much time because I was so set on okay, this is where I have to go. If I was smart, I would have just stopped and I would have asked a cast member, hey, what's the closest distribution point? I personally like the one near Pirates of the Caribbean in Adventureland. I think it's really fun being over there because that's where I got to see the Rusty Cutlass. I don't know if the Rusty Cutlass is performing this year. I'm going to have to kind of do a little look here. Live entertainment. Oh, they're calling it Captain Jack's Buccaneer Bash now. And that's at the Adventureland stage. Thanks for the heart, me. Thanks, Michelle. I really, really enjoy that. And usually in years past, the band has come out pretty much when the party starts. All right. One of the biggest mistakes also is chasing characters. I see this often. Don't try to go and see every single character. Honestly, what I like to do, I like to go walk by Winnie the Pooh and just look at them in their costumes. I do not need pictures. I do not need to stand in a line to get pictures with them. That line is very deceiving. Here's the characters. Let's say the line snakes around and the line ends right at the entrance. That can still take 45 minutes. So I like to just walk by, take a peek, see them in their costumes, and be on my merry way. Usually when you're walking by there, you can usually see Alice or some of the Wonderland characters. Again, I like to look from a distance. I do not want to waste my time standing in those lines. What I will wait for, if the line's not too long, I'll go into Princess, the Royal, they call it Royal, Princess Royal Hall or something. The hall is what I call it. They'll usually have characters there. I haven't seen Jack and Sally yet because I just don't want to wait in line for an hour. Night parties are definitely the best Disney experiences. I would agree. Also, if you know anybody attending the party, make sure to share this live with them. I'll be live for about another hour-ish, and we're just going over tips for the Halloween party. I'm also going to be posting this on YouTube too, so don't worry. If you've missed it, you'll be able to see the whole thing on YouTube. Back to characters. If there's a character that you absolutely cannot miss, prioritize it. Get it off your checklist. The lines are usually typically consistently long throughout the party night. The villains obviously are a really huge part of the party experience. You've got the Hocus Pocus Villain Spectacular, which is the stage show. You've got villain appearances. Obviously, the atmosphere is a little more spooky at night in the party. You've got villain-themed food and merchandise. The list goes on. I think that when it comes to villain-specific experiences, I've heard Oogie Boogie Bash does it better, but I've never been myself. I prioritize those as well. I obviously prioritize the ride overlays. If you're catching a theme, pick a few things, go with it, and then sprinkle the rest in if you have time. But the reason I've never met Jack and Sally is because the line is consistently an hour, probably more like 2 hours long, and I just don't want to spend my party time doing that. I think this year we might do it because this is probably going to be the last year that my daughter wants to do the party and like wear a matching costume with me. Other than that, she's probably going to want to start going with her friends, which is totally fine. But I feel like that would be something fun for her and I to do together. Does anyone remember the night of the Princess and the Pirates parties? That's super cool. I don't know. I've never even heard of that. What was it? Let's talk about the Hocus Pocus show. As somebody who's seen it 5 times, I don't need to see it again. As somebody who loves Hocus Pocus, I really enjoyed it the first time that I saw it. If you look at the lineup and the timing, you can typically time seeing the parade back to back with the show or seeing the show before the parade. I would recommend doing that. And I would recommend wherever you watch the show, just stay put and stay in that spot and wait for the parade to start, because then you're not bouncing around and trying to find a new spot. Good morning, Cassie. You made a reservations for Tony's? Ooh, I love Tony's. I liked Tony's before it got better. I've always loved Tony's. I actually think Tony's was better before because you used to get some free appetizers. Now it's like you have to ask for your free appetizer. It's very bizarre. Or like your breadsticks. You've never been to Disney. You leave today and you're going to the party next Friday. Kayla, that's so exciting. Well, you are in the right spot because we are sharing some party tips. If you guys also don't follow me over on YouTube, it's the same handle, Melissa in the Mornings, and I'll be posting this entire video over there also. Okay, so back to the Hocus Pocus show. Here are some questions that you want to ask yourself. Is it a priority for you? If it's a priority for you, pick which time you're going to go see the show. Honestly, even if it's not a priority, but you're like, I would love to see the show, at least have it in your mind of what time you'd like to see the show. Hi, Stephanie. Thanks for the heart me. Robert, thanks for the follow. Welcome, guys. Make sure to say hello and hit the follow button if you like theme park stuff, especially Halloween, because that's what we're talking about the rest of, basically the rest of the year at this point. As I mentioned, you can pair it with the parade. That's usually like my pro tip. It's just one less thing to do of having to bounce back and forth. And sometimes people want to watch it more than once, which you are totally able to do. The stage show, the Hocus Pocus stage show is definitely not one of those that you have to like save a spot for. you can pretty much slide in and see it easily from any area, anytime. The Mickey's Boo to You parade, however, is one, especially that first parade, where people will line up really, really early for. If you have a group of more than 4 people, unfortunately, I think that if you want to see it on Main Street, you do need to probably like get there like at least an hour early. My biggest tip again is grab a handful of snacks, find your spot on Main Street and just camp out and enjoy your snacks, take some pictures. They do have some fun photo opportunities on Main Street. One year they had like the skeletons and it was like a black and white overlay. So you can do things while you're waiting and get those memory maker pictures, get the fun overlays, eat some snacks, and honestly cool down a little bit. You've probably been walking around the park for a little while, so this is your opportunity to like hydrate, hang out. Now, if you don't want to do that, I'm sure you could find a spot. I've just personally never risked it if I wanted to get a certain spot on Main Street for that first parade. Now, if that you don't care about that, if you don't want to wait an hour plus saving your spot, honestly, just go to Adventureland, squeak in, watch the parade. It'll go past you before, and then you can move on and go do other stuff before it's even started on Main Street. They do, Emily. They have people, they've got PhotoPass walking around, and especially on Main Street while people are starting to camp out and wait for the parade to start, they will send them through. It's kind of like a form of entertainment, right? They'll send people through so you can take some party-specific pictures. Kayla, that's a great question. Memory Maker, PhotoPass opportunities are not included in the party. But you wanted to know if it's separate from regular Memory Maker. That's a good question. I do not know specifically because I've had an annual pass that has had the PhotoPass like Memory Maker with it. And so it's always been included. So I would assume it would be, but I do not know for sure. So that's definitely something to write on your list. Matt says it's included. Awesome. That's good to know. So if you have Memory Maker for your trip, no, you don't. He just said it's included. Memory Maker is not included in the party ticket itself or any special event like Run Disney. You have to purchase that separately for Run Disney. It is extra for parties. It's not included in the party ticket. What the question was is if you have Memory Maker for the trip, is it included? And this is a good point. Never take advice from people on the internet because sometimes people just lie. I'm not saying Matt's lying. I know Matt. But sometimes people just say it and they don't actually know or they haven't experienced it this year. So what I would do, because I don't have personal experience with it, is just go and ask when you walk in. Or there's a really good feature on the My Disney Experience app. If somebody wants to do that right now so we could get this question answered, that would be lovely. Hop on My Disney Experience app, go in the chat and ask them. Can you ask them 2 questions? If you have Memory Maker for your trip, is it included for the party? And does the party ticket include Memory Maker? I'm 99% sure the answer is no. The party ticket does not include Memory Maker for the specific party. But I would like to see from Disney's chatbot, or it's not even a chatbot, it's a cast member now, to see what they say. So if somebody wants to do that, I would appreciate it because I would love to give factual advice when it comes to that. Again, in the past, I have had it paired with my annual pass, so it's not been something that I've had to worry about. Back to the parade. A lot of people ask what you should do, the first parade or the second parade. First parade, if you have young kids and you might need to tap out early. Second parade, if you can party hard all night. The second parade is much more chill. It's much easier to get a spot for, especially if you have a large group. All of it. I highly, highly, highly recommend doing the second parade if you think your family can last that long. I'm looking at my notes here. I have a story time for you on this. I waited for the second parade one year, and then it rained, and there was no parade. So I missed the parade because it rained the second parade, so it was canceled. What you meant to say is it's not extra for parties if you already have it. Okay. But people who don't understand that would get very confused. So I was like, we need to be very careful on how we say things. But again, I don't have experience with that. So I always recommend people just asking my Disney experience in the chat room. So in the past, I've usually done the second parade. And then 2 years ago, I was like, I'm going to wait for the second parade. And then it rained, and then it was canceled. So that was a big bummer for me, honestly, because I think most people going to the party would say the parade is a priority for them. And so now it goes back to what I was talking about earlier. If you have a list of your 3 things and the parade is on your list and it is a priority, I would do it first. I wouldn't try to like pick and choose what is gonna best crunch everything in or like fit better time-wise. Do it first. If it is a priority, do it first. Because you just never know with Florida weather. There is a strategy that I've started doing where like I'll do all of my stuff the first part of the night, and then the second part of the night I will do trick-or-treating. I'll focus on more like themed snacks. I will say though, even doing it that way, the snacks have never impressed me. I have yet to find a Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party snack or treat that I have said, oh my gosh, this is the best thing ever. I have yet, unfortunately. And that's pretty common from what I've found on the internet. So using the second part of your night to like only focus on snacks or only focus on trick-or-treating is still not going to be the best use of your time. So I usually trick-or-treat, snacks, maybe ride some rides that don't have the Halloween overlay, that have a short wait that I would like to ride. We love Buzz Lightyear. That's one of our favorite rides. It is a longer ride, but it's usually like a 5-minute walk on. The snacks are visual, not actually tasty. Yeah. My friend Ashley and I went one year and we got the like really cool skeleton brownie. It was wrapped in saran wrap. And I tell you, when we took a bite into it, we almost did a double take to make sure that we actually took the saran wrap off because it just tasted like plastic. It's almost like they took it out of the oven and wrapped it in plastic wrap right away, and the plastic just melted into the brownie. It was disgusting. It was terrible. I haven't had an experience like that again, and they actually don't have it anymore this year. They replaced it with a different skeleton snack, but so Matt, prioritizing the parade is so hard. I would tell people that if the parade is a priority, they need to do the first one, because in my years past, I've been rained out of the second one. I'm like, oh, I'll just wait till the second one. I was so bummed. I didn't get to see the Headless Horseman. I didn't get to see the parade at all. So I would say the first one for sure. I personally prioritize the second parade because it's a little more chill, and if I miss it, I know I'll be back. So I personally prioritize the second one, but additionally, if you get the first one done, a lot of people will leave the park after that first one, and then when you want to go do rides or characters or whatever, the lines are usually a lot shorter at that time. And then when the second parade starts, now you've got people who've waited for the second parade and the park's already thinned out, and it's a lot of stuff is a walk-on at that point. So it just depends. Like if rides are a priority for you, I would just do the first parade, because then at the second parade, a lot of people have left already, or people are sitting for that second parade and then waiting for the fireworks, or vice versa. I can't remember which goes first. But if rides are something that are really important to you, just do the first one and then go do the rides when the park has started to clear out. I should look at this little timeline sheet and see. So it looks like the fireworks are at 10 p.m. and then the parade is after. It's at 11:15 p.m. So basically what you could do is you could see the Villain Spectacular, then you could see the fireworks, and then the Boo to You parade, and you would not have to leave your spot a single time on Main Street. So if you wanted to do that, and if you wanted to make the end of your night just like bam, 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 knock everything out on Main Street, which is what I used to do, but I don't do that anymore because I don't care about the stage show anymore. What you would do is you would, August through September, you would see the 9 o'clock Villains Spectacular. Then you would see the 10 o'clock Disney's Not So Spooky Spectacular, which is the fireworks. And then you would do the 11 o'clock Boo to You parade. So you would basically just end your night there. Okay. So as I mentioned earlier, 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. is kind of like an open window. You can enter the theme park at 4 p.m. with your party ticket. You do not need like a day ticket for that. 4 p.m. to 7 p.m., typically what I'll do is I'll walk around, take some photos in my costume in the daylight. They do have a ton of those, not a ton. They do have some of those like cardboard cutout things that you can take pictures of during the day in your costume while you're waiting for the party to start. Then you're going to get your party wristband, and then you're going to figure out what your priority is, and you're going to go do number 1. First thing, go do whatever your top priority is. Then from 7 to 10, you got your characters, entertainment, basic party stuff. And then from 10 to midnight is typically the stuff that like I would go that I've skipped that everyone else has already done because they prioritize that in the beginning of their night. It's all a strategy because I've been doing it for the last 6 years. For people who have never done it or it's their first time doing it, that's why I say keep it easy. Pick 3 things and just do those 3 things right away, and then the rest will fall into place. One of the things that a lot of people complain about why they feel stressed out going to Disney is because they're constantly on their phone, or they're constantly, looking down with their face in their map, and they're not able to enjoy what's going on around them. Let's say you have really like 3 big high ticket priority items. Like let's say, I'm trying to think, Jack and Sally, the parade on Main Street, and merch, shopping for merch. Okay, let's say those are your 3 priorities. I would say I would get in line for Jack and Sally first. I would go get merch right away after I'm done with them, and then I would do the final thing. Merch can sell out in specific sizes. It's happened in the past, like on night 1. So it really just depends. Like Jack and Sally's line is gonna be lengthy no matter what. So if merch is a priority and you really need a specific size of something, or you just really, really want something and it would kind of ruin your party night if you don't get it, I would do the merch first. So again, it just really depends. Like some people consider priorities different. Like some people's nights would really be ruined if they didn't get that Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party t-shirt. Okay. So you also have to look at it in that aspect. There are certain things that they can and will run out of. If that's a priority, I would just do that first and then just go wait in the 2-hour line for Jack and Sally. That is where relying on your cast member friends and asking them questions, especially if it's your first time, is so valuable. Just ask them. They'll tell you. They've worked these parties many times before, or they've even just been there the last couple nights and they've seen kind of patterns and behaviors. So they can give you recommendations. I personally like to go into Main Street to shop for merch just because it feels magical, but I also really like to go to like the Big Top, which is over back by Dumbo. I like to shop there. It's a little bit more of a chill experience, and they do typically have some fun treats there too. Don't underestimate trick-or-treating. I used to skip it because I'm like, I'm an adult. I do not need to trick-or-treat. I'm going to move this back a little bit. I don't need to trick-or-treat. I will let my daughter do it. No, I am so glad I started doing it. It's so much fun. I love candy too. And you're paying quite a bit for that ticket. So if you can come home with like 10 pounds of candy, it'll just make it feel all that much more worth it. But it's just like, it's a really cool experience to be able to trick-or-treat with your kids. And it's just basically like Disney giving adults permission to trick-or-treat and grab as much as they want. At the end of the night, they will offload candy like no other. I will say though, one year I did plan on trick-or-treating all night long. And at the end of the night, I know that they usually just try to like offload stuff. There were 2 spots over in Frontierland that it was like 10:45 and they were done handing out candy. That was something that I hadn't experienced in years past, was like candy stops closing early. I couldn't tell you why, but I was like, oh, I was kind of jolted, like, oh no, these 2 spots that I was planning on going and looping, they were closed. So they probably ran out of candy. I'm not too sure, but I was a little bummed that they closed that early. You have to fly at 5 a.m. the next day, so the candy is stressing you out. Why is it stressing you out? Like space or what? I remember flying home with bags of candy. I would literally eat the candy on the airplane as I was flying home. Let's talk about what to bring, party survival tips, if you will. I said it before, comfortable shoes. Please do not buy shoes for your costume and wear them for the first time on the party night. It's a big mistake. Portable chargers. I love my fuel rod. I'm a fuel rod partner. I cannot recommend it enough. It is so easy. You make your initial purchase of the fuel rod and then you exchange it for free at any of the theme parks, any of the Disney resorts, and it's just a guaranteed fully charged brick to charge your devices. Highly recommend it. They have a MagSafe one now. I love it. It is pretty costly, but is worth the investment. If you buy it through my Amazon storefront, then you will get it at like $20 cheaper than if you wait to buy it in the parks. And plus, then you support me by purchasing it there. A water bottle, if you don't like Dasani water, I highly recommend bringing your own water bottle. Those collapsible ones work great. Bring your patience. Absolutely, Ashley. I always bring like those Trader Joe's, like, no, never mind, because everyone's going to think of the trendy canvas ones. Just the reusable tote bags. Even Disney sells them for like $2. But the large ones, I always bring one of those because then I can compile all of my trick-or-treat bags. Or you can dump your candy into that big bag and consolidate and then just walk around with your small trick-or-treat bag as you're trick-or-treating. Cooling towel and fan. Poncho for sure. For sure. I usually will bring a pair of flip-flops in case it does rain because then I can change out of my sneakers or whatever shoes. I cannot have wet feet. It will ruin my day. I have major sensory issues, so having wet feet is a no-go for me. So I will always bring like a pair of like $1 Old Navy flip-flops, and it usually helps immensely. Hand sanitizer. Sometimes people will bring like the chafing cream, blister protection, like the moleskin. Especially, again, if you have shoes that you've not worn frequently, moleskin will save your life. Speaking of being comfortable and the Florida weather, let's talk costume strategy. I see people wearing t-shirts. I see people wearing full-out gowns and costumes. I see everything. I personally do not like wearing cotton t-shirts. It is so hot. I think wearing a costume, actually, I did it one year. I wore a wig and a costume, and I was more comfortable in that than I was the year that I wore a t-shirt and bike shorts. I felt like I was like so constricted with tight bike shorts. The t-shirt was so hot because it was cotton. It was super humid. So for me, I actually prefer wearing a full-on costume. I usually wear like a dress or a skirt too, so it's not as constricting. Keep in mind that it can be humid, it can be raining, it can be both, it can be windy, it can be blistering hot, even in October. Sometimes what I'll do is I'll bring a costume and then I'll bring a change of clothes after I've gotten all of my pictures, after like the sun's gone down. Sometimes I'll stay in my costume like for the whole night. It just kind of depends. Again, it just depends. But like bringing a spare change of clothes, especially because you never know, you might get rained on. I always like to have in a spare locker. Sometimes people walk around with backpacks. I hate walking around with a backpack. It is my biggest peeve of like having to lug stuff around. It's so hot. So like I said, you can rent that locker for like $10 and it'll fit like a small backpack in there and some merch even. But spend that $10 and just store maybe even some extra water bottles, especially if you don't like Dasani water. Or even what I'll do is I'll bring 2 water bottles sometimes. I'll bring one with water and I'll bring 1 water bottle full with ice. And I'll just buy like a Coca-Cola and pour it over ice in my own water bottle. Everyone's like, oh, we'll just go ask quick service. You guys, quick service is so busy. It is really challenging to just go ask for water. It is really challenging to just go ask for ice. I understand like that's like a hack that people tell. I personally don't love that hack because numerous times I have waited 20 minutes for a water, where I could have just, gone to the locker and gotten my own water and ice that's, right there on Main Street. Especially if it's like for the parade time, it's easy to bob back and forth to the lockers from Main Street, which is what I like to do. So while yes, there is free water and free ice available, what's more important, saving time or whatever? Now, some people would say, well, if you have to walk back to your locker, it's not necessarily saving time. Fair. But I can offload some stuff while I'm there. I can grab some snacks from my locker while I'm there. I eat a lot. And like I said, the party food typically just doesn't do it for me. So I still also bring my own snacks with me as well. And then when it comes to candy, like I said, I'll offload my candy when I go back to my locker. Your bags will already be at the airport. Oh, for the candy. Sorry, I missed that comment. Yeah, all good. Stuff it in your backpack or something. Typically, I've been able, if that little trick-or-treat bag that they give you, they've allowed me to bring like my personal item and that because it's food. So they technically let you. Each airline is different, but make sure you leave space in your luggage to kind of condense. When it comes to costumes, especially if you have kids, I recommend putting your kids in their costume before the day of the party. I've seen so many kids have meltdowns because they're uncomfortable, they're hot, they're itchy, something doesn't fit right. I would have your kid play around for an hour in their costume at home just to make sure that it works. And also be mindful that if they're hot in the air conditioning in your house, they're probably going to be way hot down in Florida. So putting them in that costume for like an hour really helps you gauge like how comfortable and how overheated they may or may not be in Florida weather. Speaking of Florida weather, that's my next topic. The weather can change everything. It can cancel parties. It can cancel the fireworks. It can cancel a lot of stuff. So just be flexible. Just have fun. There's tons of themed things that you can do if that's canceled. Obviously, we hope that it's not, but it has happened to me. It's happened in years past. Just learn how to pivot. If a parade is canceled, go use that time to shop like everyone else. Go get a snack. Go do something that you wouldn't have done. Or maybe that's just your opportunity to go hop in line for a ride that it's a 5-minute wait. They don't like canceling the parades. They don't like canceling the outdoor activities, but obviously it's for the safety of the performers. It's for your safety too, especially if there's lightning. They don't want anybody getting injured. I will also say, thanks for the heart me. There are certain things that they will do if it's just sprinkling, and if you don't want to ruin your makeup or your hair or whatever, bring an umbrella because you can still do quite a bit of stuff outside when it's raining. Just carry an umbrella. I also will say I use an umbrella just for the heat and for the sun too. It's so good to see you. Good morning. Going through my notes. We already talked about it a little bit, but like, I can't stress it enough. Don't waste party time eating. I had somebody text me a couple weeks ago saying that Tony's has always been on the top of their list, and they were going to book Tony's during the party. And I said, why? You can go to Tony's any other time. Needless to say, they're doing Tony's during the party because it's been on their bucket list. And I would say that's a waste of time. But this is the point. You get to decide what's a waste of time for you. 90 minutes at a table service restaurant is a huge chunk of time that you're missing from the party. And even if you're at Tony's, you are not guaranteed to get one of those like glass room seats where you can see out to Main Street. You could be stuck inside in the corner. So if you have this grand vision of sitting at Tony's and watching the parade go by, it's probably not going to happen because you're not guaranteed those seats to overlook Main Street. Going to the party next Friday. Have so much fun, Melissa. Do you have a costume picked out? Do I know if the train station is still open for viewing the parade or just fireworks? The train station, from my experience, is hit or miss. The train station is usually reserved for VIP parties, Club 33, and I want to say something else. I can't remember. I would love if they would just sell tickets. I would pay for tickets up there. But I don't think that they open it to the general public very often anymore. You're dressing festive. I like that. You couldn't decide on a group costume. You could like have everyone pick colors and like be like a fall theme. I'm just looking at my notes really quick. Oh, so with the person who texted me asking about Tony's, I was like, just go. If you really want to go on the party night, go at 4. Like do a 4 o'clock dinner, eat early, and then you still have time for party specific stuff. The age-old question of should you ride attractions? My answer is yes. Ride all of the attractions that have the overlay. Thanks for sharing the live. Ride all of the attractions that have the overlay. Do that, and then ride some other rides that have a low wait time. You can see all the wait times on the app. Bop around. I 100% love riding rides on party nights because it's nighttime, it's cooler, the lines are usually lower. I did talk about renting a locker because it is the GOAT for $10. I think, what's the most expensive locker? Like $30? But that's like for a ton of bags. You don't need that. You can spend $10 on a locker and store quite a bit of stuff. But what I like to do usually at the end of the night is like once I've done most of the party stuff, I will quick go ride a handful of rides right at the end of the night because that's when most people, again, are at the final parade, at the stage show, at the fireworks. I'm trying to look at the times again. Yeah, the Hocus Pocus Villain Spectacular, they have one right at midnight. It's cool to like watch, but it's not something that I prioritize anymore. So typically when people are done with the parade at 11:15, they'll hang out and watch the Villain Spectacular. During that time, I will leave the parade and I will go do some other rides. Like typically Space Mountain is like a 5-minute walk on. Buzz Lightyear. And again, Space Mountain has that really fun overlay. So highly recommend doing Space Mountain at the very least. Space Mountain, Haunted Mansion are usually my priorities. We talked about photos earlier, but I just want to get back to that. They do have free photo opportunities with the Halloween backdrops. So it's like a little cutout that you kind of step into. That's free. They do have like a PhotoPass person, but you can also take pictures with your own phone. Obviously, the Mickey wreaths you can get pictures with, that sort of thing. The paid ones with the memory maker, that's going to be like with your overlays. I don't know this year. Does anybody know what some of the overlays are for this year? I don't think I've seen it yet. But those are called magic shots. Character photos, obviously you can do. You just have to wait in line for the characters to get those pictures. Please don't be that person that's walking and hollering at the characters as you're walking by. That's really disrespectful for the people who are waiting in line and waiting their turn, and for the people who are actually in the interaction meeting the characters. It's distracting and disrespectful. Please don't do it. What else? One of my tips is, if photos and the magic shots are a priority for you, they were for me one year because I had this costume that I thought would look really cool with all the photos. Get them marked off your list. Just go get them done. On the map, it'll show you. It's so tough right now. But on the map, it'll show you areas of where to go and where those special opportunities are. I'm trying to look and see if I can find one. It's just too tough to see right now. We talked about it earlier as well. Buy merchandise immediately if that is your priority. If you see something you love that you want to buy it. Sizes do run out. They have run out. They have party exclusive items that you cannot buy unless you have a party ticket. So a lot of the times what I'll do is I'll enter at 4:00 and merch is the first thing that I do. And then what I'll do from there is I will rent a locker and store my stuff in the locker. Just so that I'm not carrying all that merch around. Hi, Matt. But that I am guaranteed to get what I want. Having a map strategy, a lot of people do it. For the general park goer who maybe has been to Magic Kingdom a couple times in their life, or even if you've been to Magic Kingdom frequently but you've never been to the Halloween party, I do not recommend having a map strategy. I don't mess around with that. I think it is so stressful. Constantly pulling out your checklist, constantly figuring things out. No. Like I said, I'm going to revert back to pick 3 things. Pick 3 magical things that you want to do and start from most prioritized to next and just knock them out. Okay? Then move on with your day. If you don't know how to get there, yes, then use your map. If you don't know how to get there, ask a cast member. Do not waste your time planning your park strategy based on vicinity. Now, is it helpful? Absolutely. Is it going to save you from walking around a lot? Yes. But half the time, if you tell somebody to start in Tomorrowland and then go here and then go here, they have no idea what you're talking about. So my general tip, start in the center, go left, go right, pick one, and then just walk around in a circle. It's going to be the easiest. Now, you might want to do Space Mountain first. So obviously you're going to go to Space Mountain first. When you're at Space Mountain, then just make your way around. Or if you have Space Mountain and then you really want to ride Pirates of the Caribbean next, like that's like a must do for you, for your family. If you don't know how to get there, ask somebody. I have had people walk from Space Mountain, walk all the way around the castle to get to Pirates when they could have just walked straight across. So even though you could use your map and you could see very clearly where to go, there are so many different routes that you could take. So that's why I say just have your priorities and ask cast members how to get there. And truthfully, there's sometimes not even just one way to get there either, but they might tell you the best way depending on if an area is going to be congested or if something's going to be quicker. Or they might know, hey, if you walk this way around this time, you might see something really cool going on. So the strategy thing to me has never been something that I've recommended. Maximizing your time is very important. I understand that. But I also think that depending on what you value, that might add less value to your memories. I do not value having my head in my phone looking at a map the entire time to try to determine what the next thing is. I don't value checking things off of a list. I value being in the moment, experiencing the vibes, trying new things, keeping my eyes off the screen so that I can watch all of this really cool stuff around me. I can see people's costumes. That to me brings joy. And so that's why I personally have never played with the park strategy game. So I guess you could say that's like my biggest tip. My biggest tip with any of this is not building the night based around what you're seeing online that's popular. I really recommend that you build the night based off of 3 things that you think will bring you joy. Getting those 3 things done, and then revisiting a list that you might have made that's like, okay, if I've done these 3 things, what else do we want to do? The park is big, but it's manageable. There's less people. It's definitely been busy, but there's still less people than a normal park day. It's fairly easy to navigate. Just ask questions. And if you don't know what to do, or if you're feeling overwhelmed, or if you're feeling like you're just not getting enough out of the party, go ask a cast member and say, this is what I've done so far. Do you recommend anything else? Or I didn't like this. I liked this. Do you have any recommendations of what I should do since I didn't like this and I liked this? They're really good at their jobs. And the party hasn't changed very much. So it's pretty easy for them to be able to help make recommendations based on an experience. Or they know the schedule, right? Like if you're all the way back in the back of the park and you missed an opportunity of something that you wanted to do, you could say, hey, I really had planned to do this, but I realized that this has already started. What do you recommend I do now so I don't waste time, but that I don't miss the next show? That's happened to me too, where I'm like, oh, I thought I had enough time to do something, and then I ended up missing a show that I wanted to see because I didn't plan timing. Don't be afraid to ask. If you think that you might not have enough time, or if you just want to make sure before you get in line for something, tell the cast member, hey, I plan to see this show at the stage, and you're all the way in the back of the park. Do you think I'll have enough time to do this experience and to walk and get to see the show? Ask those questions. It definitely takes a lot longer to get places if you don't know where you're going. So talk to people around you and just see like what's realistic. Hi, Brooklyn. Good to see you. Jennifer, taking 2 12-year-old boys who aren't into character interactions in shows or parades, is it worth it? Do they like candy? Do they like trick-or-treating? The good thing about the shows in the parade is that you can literally just like walk up, watch it for 5 minutes, and walk away if you want to, truthfully. The parade is not so easy to do that with, but like the shows for sure. You can easily like walk up to the side of like the hub, watch it for 5 minutes, and then leave. Make them compromise so that you can see it, Jennifer. But if they like trick-or-treating, the trick-or-treating is so much fun. Now people would argue I'm not going to pay all that money just to trick-or-treat. I literally have gone there just to dress up in a costume and go trick-or-treat because I've done everything else. So I think it just depends again what you find value in and what you find joy in. But you can trick-or-treat. There's themed snacks you can get. There's merch you can go shopping for. They have Halloween overlays on the rides, so you can experience that. Space Mountain, they're 12. They'll probably love Space Mountain. Space Mountain is blacked out for Halloween. It's so much fun. Haunted Mansion usually has ghosts roaming around. Nobody has still been able to confirm if Pirates of the Caribbean has pirates roaming around inside the attraction yet. Have we had anybody that's gone to the party yet this year that can confirm for us? But that's the point. If you don't care about characters, skip them. Honestly, the lines are so long anyways. If you want candy and rides, Do candy and rides. That's typically what I do. Name 2 rides that don't have overlays that you would like to see have one. Oh, Matt, I love that. 2 rides that don't have overlays that I would like to see have one. Honestly, Big Thunder. I think Big Thunder would be really cool to put some like glowy things through. It's easy, just turn them off during the day and turn them on at night. I think that would be really cool to make it like a Wild West themed Halloween thing, especially since they have the cadaver dance. Like, how cool would it be to have the cadaver dance, like walking around the line even? That would be fun. What other ride? I think Tiana's would be really cool. They could really lean into like the voodoo stuff and maybe add in like some stuff in the beginning of the queue. Just sprinkle stuff in. I don't know. Make different stuff to look at. That's a really good question. Hi, Chris. I gotta think about that more. Okay. Questions for you guys. How many times have you been to the party, or is this year going to be your first? I'm very curious. Right? Leaning into Dr. Facilier, I agree. That would be super cool. Even just like having him roam around the queue. Or like when you're in the queue, like having characters there. You've been twice. Going back for your second party on September 8th. So Matt, since you've only gone twice and you're already like, it hasn't changed enough for me to go back, do you think you're going to go back anytime soon? Kelsey, it's your first year. Kelsey, what's your priority? What is like the top of your list that you have to do? This will be your 4th, also going September 8th. I can't remember this. I think this is going to be my 5th, including the Boo Bash. Yeah, this is my 5th, including Boo Bash. Okay, next question. What's your favorite Disney villain? Candy Parade and Rides. You'll do good. Oh, that's fun that you took them because then you had your son. Boo Bash was your first and spoiled me. I know. Boo Bash was my first too. I was so spoiled. I was so pissed when I went to order my Mickey bar and my Coca-Cola and they tried to charge me. I was like, excuse me? Excuse me. I paid double for this ticket and I don't get any of this stuff? I was so mad. Oh, that would be a cool one. Disney villain. If I could pick any Disney villain that's not really interacted with or not at the party, I can't even remember his name, but what's the name of the guy from Hunchback of Notre Dame? The really tall, skinny guy. What's his name? I would really like to see him at the party. Gosh, what's his name? It'll come to me. Do you guys like to wear costumes or do you guys like to wear regular clothes? Judge Frollo, thank you. I was going to say Rolo, but I knew that wasn't right. Costume or regular clothes? I am team costume. Team costume all the way. The only time that I would probably wear this is like the end of the night when I needed to change and get comfortable. The lady from Rescuers, that would be cool. There are no villains, they're just misunderstood. Kind of, except for the ones that like try to kill people. So are you guys team costume or team regular clothes? Costume? Yeah. I'm so excited for our costumes this year. I can't wait. Regular comfy clothes. I have so many costumes that I want to wear, so I'm like, I have to keep going. I want to do an Ursula one, and I want to do a Jasmine one eventually. Depends on the weather. Do you bring a costume and regular clothes, and do you just decide then? Was regular clothes but might go into a costume this year. I went, Kelsey, thanks for the follow. I went as Sylvie Loki one year. It was the first year I ever did a costume. To say that I felt like a celebrity is minimizing the experience. I got so many compliments on my costume. I was so proud of it too. And it was very much out of my comfort zone. But so many people were like, I have not seen a Sylvie yet. And it was the middle of October. They're like, I work every party and have not seen a Sylvie Loki yet. And I was like, I feel so awesome. It's just fun. It's fun. It's your second time going. Last year was your first. Disney should do a few special party nights that are marketed as pirate nights, similar to the cruise. I think that would be so cool. Like I was saying earlier, it's not called Rusty Cutlass anymore. I need to look at it again. I love, love, love being over by pirates when the party starts to listen to the band. It's called Captain Jack's Buccaneer Bash. So much fun. You found some of those Disney kids' nightgowns with the frill and use those as kids' costumes. Yes, for sure. First time I went, it was just me and my husband. This year we're taking the kids. That's so exciting. Do you guys have costumes planned? Thank you. Ooh, Vanessa too. I already have the costume for it. I've had it for like 5 years because I saw the dress and like, this is going to be perfect for Ursula. I just haven't gone because I skipped the last year at the Halloween party. Neil, thanks for reposting. You're doing Peter Pan, Wendy, and Tinkerbell. Oh, I love that. That's so fun. Okay, if you had to choose, we're talking about Halloween party only. Would you do the parade or would you do the fireworks? I would do the fireworks because I love, love, love seeing Jack Skellington on stage. It's so, and Zero. It's so cool. And I've also never prioritized the fireworks. So I think that because I've done the parade so much, I would probably just do the fireworks. You said the parade. I love that song. They changed a few things in the parade this year. I've heard there's no more pain and panic. I've heard, gosh, what else did I hear? There's a few things that they changed in the parade, but nothing that's like gonna make or break it, that's for sure. Okay, would you do trick-or-treating or party exclusive food? If you had to choose, if you only had time for one, would you do trick-or-treating or would you go do the party exclusive food? I always like fall victim to doing the party exclusive food just because like I'm hoping that one year I'm going to find something I like, but that's never the case. So I would choose trick-or-treating. Ooh. Because I'm bringing your kids, yeah, trick-or-treating. Trick-or-treating food is never as good as the hype. I know. I don't think, is there anybody in here who has had a Halloween party snack item or meal item that they were like so freaking excited over and that they loved it? I have yet to meet somebody who has. Yeah. No. We have 3 nopes, including me. I know Matt's a nope. He doesn't really like the party food. Corinne, okay. I waited a fucking hour for those Parmesan chicken strips and they were terrible. I love the way it looks, but sometimes it's too sweet. Agreed. They're cute, but that's usually about it. Agreed. That's why I usually, like, I won't get that stuff with my family. I'll get it when I'm with my friends, because then we can all, like, take our pictures and content of it, and then I'll take a bite and then throw it in the trash. There's been so many items that I bought that I've just thrown away right away. Like, I can't choke it down. Hi, Amy. Okay, here's a good question. Would you pay extra for a VIP party experience? Wendy, thanks for the follow. Also, side note, another little plug, if you don't follow me over on Instagram or YouTube, please go find me over there. I'm going to be posting this entire video on YouTube. And then Instagram, I post a lot more like stuff to my personal stories, and you don't see those unless you follow. Which I just found out recently, which makes sense. But I post a lot of like silly stuff over on my stories too. If it's a dessert party, then no. No, since the lines are already less and it's a big perk of VIP. I think I do want to do the dessert party because unlimited champagne, you guys. It's $100 for that ticket. I could down a lot of champagne. Jennifer, thanks for the follow. We're prioritizing party exclusive this year. So trick-or-treating, parade, fireworks, etc. over rides. Yep. That's always what I do. I do the ride overlays. I hate teacups, so I always skip that. But I do Haunted Mansion, Space Mountain. That's it for rides, unless at the end of the night there's time. Dessert party is so worth it if you like adult beverages. Absolutely. And if I bring my husband back to the party, we will be doing that because he did not like the party. So that'll make him happy. Go have a few drinks. 110 with heat index. Oh, hi, Steve. That's wild. I'm going to be a roasting piggy next week. We're doing the dessert party this year for the first time, but not on a party night. I love it. What was it, 5 years ago, 6 years ago? I made my own dessert party at home because I went to the dessert party and I loved it so much. And I was like, I miss it. I projected the fireworks on my wall. I made all of the little desserts that they had at the dessert party. And I did my own little Disney dessert party at home. I love the dessert party. I think it is so worth the price. See you real soon, Steve. If you guys did not know, Uber Steve, you need to follow him if you are visiting Florida. If you're going to Disney, Universal, right? Or even SeaWorld, Steve, he can be your transport to and from where you need to go, as long as you don't need car seats. Flight attending has been so good. I love it so much. I'm going on 3 months now. I'm made for that job. For sure. I enjoy it thoroughly. I do a couple of MCO flights. I do a lot of them. So if you guys are ever flying to Orlando, you might see me. Okay. Now, open. Sharon says, stop telling people about him. He won't have time for us regulars. I'm sorry. I just got to spread the love. Y'all know that safety is one of my biggest priorities. And with Steve here being former military, you're literally, I feel like my life is safe in his vehicle. But that's it for me. I'm done yapping. Do you guys, we've been doing this for an hour and a half now. Do you guys have any questions? Again, I'll be posting this over on YouTube, so please go find me over there. We've covered literally everything there is to cover. But if you guys have any like last questions that we can answer and chat about, drop them in the chat. I'm trying to think if there's any like last minute things that I might have forgotten to talk about. Disney Mom, thanks for the follow. My handle is the same over on Instagram and on YouTube. It's Melissa in the Mornings. I have been very tempted to go back to Melissa in the Magic because I looked at my insights for like the first time in like 7 months. People are still searching for Melissa in the Magic. So I'm like, damn it. I did so good at branding myself as that. The problem is there's so many people that are popping up that are also doing like that in the Magic, and people don't understand that like we're not connected. And it's like creating brand identity is really hard when you're in like the theme park first. So I struggle with that. Next week I will. Resort Live next week for sure. I have not had any time to edit any of my resort tours from March. It's been really crazy. My computer has no storage. I need a new computer, so I can't edit. It's been a nightmare. So I'm like, do I even need to edit? If I don't edit, it'll just feel like a regular live stream. The AI summary says, deciding on Halloween party plans, parade versus dessert party. Vote for your favorite. That's fun. But yes. It's just a toss-up. I know, it's tough. It's tough to decide. I don't know why you're sharing, your comments are getting filtered. That's so bizarre. That's odd. Any last questions before we sign off? One last reminder, if you want to rewatch this entire video, I'm posting it over on YouTube. It's at Melissa in the Mornings. I will also be posting a follow-up video after I attend the party myself in September. On Saturday morning, I am doing a live stream for HHN Halloween Horror Nights. I'm also attending opening weekend coming up soon for that, so I'm super excited. Hollow Scream this year, you guys, has an original IP, which is super exciting. That's at SeaWorld. Highly recommend it. It is a very affordable party. It has the best party food. It has the best drinks. The houses are amazing. One of the things that I like about the houses at Hollow Scream versus HHN, they don't use tracks. When I worked in a house for Hollow Scream, it was my voice. I was screaming. I was yelling. I was saying things to people. We could say whatever we wanted. It was so much fun. The vibe there is just amazing. I cannot recommend it enough. The ticket price is very affordable. They also have a run called Hollow Sprint. Highly recommend that as well. Yeah, if you guys don't have any other questions for me, I'm going to log off so I can download this live and get it up on YouTube as soon as possible. Thank you for hanging out with me this morning. I will see you guys on Saturday morning for the HHN live stream, and then again next week at a Disney resort.